Tom, first of all, how did he pull up? Tommy Jones.
Hi.
How did he come out of surgery?
Yeah, really well. Really good, really positive as far as surgery goes. If you could say it's positive to have surgery at this time of the year, but it's really positive, the outcome. So, where, as I said last night, it's a 4 to 6 week injury, the outside being 6, the positive and the good prognosis for us is it's more likely 4. So we're pretty hopeful.
It's a tough cover, obviously, but you've probably got a better man to come in than most sides would have in the twos, I would have thought.
Yeah, we've got some people certainly available, and obviously you're referring to Jack Homsch, and we've got Jared Leonard as well, who's played really good footy. We're pretty keen to have a look at Jared at some stage, and obviously Jasper, if he gets through this week's training, will be another option. And you've seen we played Brad back in the last quarter last week, so we've got some numbers there to cover it. But you're still, I challenge any side to lose your key back, your best back, and not hurt you a bit.
Have you made that decision yet?
No, I haven't. No. About to go and do selection, actually.
When does that get sorted out? Is it another sort of training session?
Yeah, we'll need to, because we've only just come back. We've had a couple of days away, so we've just come back, and the boys have only just got going out there today. So there's a couple of blokes that we're going to wait and see on Friday, because we've had Sam Gray and Jasper Pittard who missed last week's game with some minor injury, which we're hopeful that will both come up and be available. So we'll then wait and see.
Does Homshi get excited, for lack of a better term, about this sort of prospect of a good little chunk in the AFL side?
Yeah, well, anyone who's in that position, it seems it's a little bit wrong, isn't it, that they look and see their opportunity, which they do get excited by, and that's great from their point of view. They've unfortunate to have someone have some bad luck, which they'd be devastated for Tommy, but any of those boys who get their opportunity, if they can get a run at it at this time of the year, it's pretty important.
I haven't looked at this. Just one more, sorry.
No, you're right.
I haven't looked at his contract situation. For somebody who is as skilled as he is, to be spending sort of up and down half the year in the twos, is that something that you have to talk to him about and say you're obviously still a pretty valued player, or is it something that he has to explore options?
He's got a contract with us, so that's not an issue. But I mean, obviously, they're decisions that Jack would have to make at some point if he wants to. But all I can tell you is Jack's very happy at Port Adelaide, and I wouldn't have thought that's an issue.
Jack's you know what you get with him. You've seen him play, at a high level before. Jared, on the other hand, a bit of an unknown. What can you tell us and fans kind of what they might get potentially if he's to make a debut at some point? Yeah,
well, as you said, Jack's pretty exposed. You know what he does. Jared's a bit different. He's got some wheels about him. He's got a bit of speed. He's obviously 6'5" and got a powerful kick. So he's a slightly different player than obviously Jonas or Homsch would be. But he would be, a player that mature age. He's 24, I think. Jared is. So he's mature enough to play football. So I think from our point of view, that's something we need to look at and see where he's at and find out what he can actually do at a level above.
Just another one on the team kind of issue taking shape. Sam Gray, how's he? Can you shed a bit of light on just how he's travelling, where he's at? Yeah,
that's what I said before. Both Sam and Jasper missed last week. Both run today. Both out there moving around pretty well today. So again, we'll first day back today going. So we'll wait and see what they look like on Friday. But at this stage, I'd be very hopeful that Sam Gray certainly would be available.
Fremantle have been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde at times this year. Had some good wins, but some ugly losses at times. I guess, are they a hard team to get a bit of a touch on at the moment? Yeah, well, clearly their form over home's a bit stronger, but they only come to Melbourne a couple of weeks ago and had this amazing first half against Carlton, and we're really strong. But I think their own form's probably a little bit inconsistent, but they're a young side who are developing, and that's what I hear Ross talk about that all the time. They're on the journey, and they're going to stay that way. They'll have some games, I'm sure, that are really positive. I just hope it's not this week.
What do you want to see from your side over West this week?
Oh no, we've been pretty consistent for a good period of time now. We'd like to continue to show some improvement and some growth in some areas of our game that we're still looking to get better at now. That's like every team in the competition, so we won't view the game any differently. We first and foremost need to get 4 points. We're still trying to qualify for finals, and every side in the competition seems like it's trying to qualify for the final, so we're no different. We're trying to get a good, strong performance that'll hopefully get us 4 points, but we know the challenge.
Do you have to temper expectations within your group? You've had a couple of games that you should have won and you did win, and then you've got another one this week that you will be favourites to win against the team missing probably the 2 best players. Have you sort of got that balance of tempering expectations in your group?
Pretty boring, isn't it? Competition. It's just so tight. You can't afford to make mistakes, and we see them week in, week out that the so-called underdog gets up. We as coaches don't see underdogs and favourites. We see opposition and challenges. That's exactly what it is.
You've been travelling well, Ken, but that last time in Perth wasn't so good. Is that something that might bring up?
Oh, we played a side that was absolutely flying at that point, and they got 6 or 7 goals up on us at one stage, and we managed to close that back. Going into the last quarter, we probably were kicking to get inside 3 goals, and then they kicked a couple late that got it back to 40. But no, we didn't play a great game over there, but I think that would be a bit disrespectful to the team we played at the time. They were flying and looked like they're getting some good players back.
But you like the ground? You don't mind that trip?
Don't know. I've only been there once and lost, so no. So I don't mind Perth, but I don't know about the ground. Let's see if we can get a victory on it first, and then I might view it a bit differently.
Matty Broadbent, more bad injury.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. He's his existing injury with his ankle, which is the foot where he's got some bone stress on, is going to put him out, for the rest of the year, basically. And that's just one of those things. His ankle itself, it's come back really well from the surgery. We've been really patient, but until you get running and you change your running action a little bit, that's when you can fall into some of these little side issues, like a stress reaction in your foot. So that's exactly what he's got. He'll be out of action now, basically for the rest of the year, but he'll be, ready to go and strong to get through, pre-season, which is what he really needs, probably as much as I think we're pushing him along this year to hopefully have him back available towards the end of the year, but that's not happened, and the best thing now is to get Broady right and just get him fit for the pre-season.
How hard has that been for him to go from one of the first picks, have the unfortunate circumstances in which he injured himself in so much football, work your way back, have the cheers joining in the training a couple of weeks ago, and then just straight back down again?
A lot of worse things going on. That's what we spoke about. Me and him spoke about. He rang me and we spoke about exactly that. He said, it's an injury. It's unfortunate. We'd much rather do without it. But as he said, it's not the worst thing in the world. And he's pretty optimistic about what it looks like, and he'll just get on with getting on. He's dealt with the injury now for a good period of time. He now knows that the major part of the injury is getting better. So that's really positive for him.
I want to ask, just on a day where contracts are being talked about for other reasons, Jared Pollock, do you know where the contract discussions stand with him?
Yeah, they're where they are. They're negotiating, I would imagine, between him and the club, and that would be quite normal. All I've said along with all the boys, they like to stay at Port more often than not. That's not an issue. And Jared's no different. He did come back to Adelaide from Brisbane, hopefully and expect that Jared will still be at Port Adelaide next year.
Pretty confident there?
Yeah, well, why wouldn't we be? It's consistent behaviour from our players.